The Great Pyramid of Giza. For almost 5,000 years, we've all been told the same story, that Pharaoh Khufu had this colossal structure built as his tomb. They say that in just 20 years, thousands of workers, using simple copper tools, ropes, and pure determination, created this masterpiece. Sounds incredible, doesn't it? But here's the thing. The stories we've been told aren't actually built on solid facts. In truth, much of what we know about the pyramids isn't based on evidence, but on assumptions. Educated, logical assumptions, perhaps. But still, only assumptions. But what if the real story isn't just incomplete? What if it was deliberately hidden? And at the very center of this mystery stands one man, Dr. Zahi Hawass, Egypt's most famous archaeologist. For decades, Hawass has had complete control over Egypt's ancient secrets. Every excavation, every discovery, every mysterious detail buried beneath the sands, all had to pass through his approval. Don't get me wrong, he's a man deeply passionate about Egypt. But here's the interesting part. Instead of opening the door to new ideas, Hawass is known for blocking independent research and silencing anyone who questions the official story, especially those whose theories could change everything we think we know. Let me be clear, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But you can't help but wonder, why? Why stop others from exploring? Why close the doors just when answers might be within reach? Is he really protecting Egypt's heritage? Or something else? If you believe there's more to the pyramids than meets the eye, trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. Because tonight, we'll dive into the evidence that has shocked scientists, angered archaeologists, and silenced historians. From mysterious chambers sealed for thousands of years to stonework so precise it's nearly impossible to replicate even today. The truth behind this structure may be far more fascinating and far older than the official history admits. Could the Great Pyramid really have been built using nothing but hand tools, ropes, and wooden pulleys? Or was there a technology we still can't understand? And if so, who built it and why? Tonight we lift the veil. We confront the keepers of history, and we expose the evidence that's been hiding in plain sight. Because sometimes the greatest secrets of history aren't lost. They're buried by those who don't want them to be found. For most people, when we think of ancient Egypt, we imagine golden tombs, hieroglyphs, and those majestic pyramids rising from the desert sands. For years, we've been told that this monument was built around 2550 BC by Pharaoh Khufu, a grand tomb constructed by thousands of workers in his honor. At first glance, it seems like an incredible achievement, but when you look closer, things start to make less sense. Here's something strange but true. There's no solid evidence that Khufu actually built the pyramid. The ancient Egyptians documented everything, from minor events to major religious ceremonies. Yet for their greatest monument, there's no clear record. Yes, faint markings with Khufu's name were reportedly found deep within the pyramid's chambers, but these were discovered centuries after the pyramid itself was opened, and many experts believe they might have been added later. After all, seeing someone's name on a monument doesn't necessarily mean they built it, and if the pyramid really was a tomb, where are the burial goods? Where are the decorations, the hieroglyphs, the statues? Most importantly, where are Khufu's remains? None of them were ever found. That alone is a huge mystery, because every royal tomb ever discovered was filled with wall carvings, inscriptions, and treasures. But the Great Pyramid? Completely empty. Maybe, just maybe, it wasn't a tomb at all. Maybe it served a very different purpose. Then there's the matter of precision. The pyramid is aligned almost perfectly to true north, off by less than a single degree. Inside, massive granite blocks weigh up to 80 tons each, and their cuts are so exact that even modern engineers struggle to match that level of precision. Engineer Christopher Dunn examined these stones and found perfectly circular drill holes and smooth cuts, markings that would be nearly impossible to make using copper tools. Modern tests trying to recreate such precision with ancient methods have all failed. So, how did people thousands of years ago manage to build this? If we struggle with today's technology, how did they do it? And then there's the question of light. The interior of the pyramid is pitch dark, full of narrow passageways. How did they work inside? If they had used torches or oil lamps, there would be soot and smoke marks on the walls, but there aren't. None. So, what did they use? All these clues point to one thing. The pyramid builders possessed knowledge, perhaps even technology, that we no longer understand. But instead of openly investigating these questions, mainstream archaeology, especially under Hawas's control, has almost forbidden them from being asked. Independent researchers like Robert Bauval and John Anthony West were mocked simply for thinking differently. Bauval noticed that the alignment of the pyramids mirrors the stars of Orion's belt, not as they appear in Khufu's time, but as they looked 10,000 years earlier. West, along with geologist Robert Schoch, showed that the erosion on the Sphinx was caused not by wind or sand, but by rainfall, meaning the Sphinx could be thousands of years older than Egypt's earliest known civilization. Still, Egyptologists rejected these ideas, not because they were proven wrong, but because they didn't fit the accepted story. And the discoveries don't stop there. In the 1990s, German engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink sent a small robot into a narrow shaft leading from the Queen's chamber. Everyone believed the tunnel led nowhere, but when the robot advanced, it found something incredible. A small limestone door with 2 copper handles. Nothing like it had ever been seen inside the pyramid before. Just as Gantenbrink was about to continue, Egyptian authorities suddenly shut down his work. Years later, in 2002, National Geographic sent in another team. They drilled a tiny hole through the door. And what did they find behind it? Another door. And once again, the research stopped. Even today, that second door remains unopened. No one knows what lies beyond it, and no one is allowed to investigate. Why? What could possibly be hidden there? Then, in 2017, scientists used advanced scanning technology to peer inside the pyramid without touching it. The results were astonishing. Above the Grand Gallery, they discovered a massive hidden chamber, no visible entrance, no idea what's inside, and yet again, no permission to explore. No one has entered that void. It's as if every time we get close to something truly groundbreaking, someone says, stop. So, where does that leave us? Is all this secrecy really about protecting Egypt's cultural heritage, or about hiding truths that could rewrite history itself? Maybe the pyramids conceal a lost technology. Maybe these structures are the remnants of a forgotten civilization, far older than we've ever imagined. One thing's for sure. Until those doors are opened, we'll never truly know. For decades, Dr. Zahi Hawass has shaped how the world sees Egypt. Some call him a hero, the guardian of Egyptian history. Others see him as the man who hides the truth. The real question is this: is he protecting Egypt's treasures, or its secrets? Because until those doors are opened, and until we look beneath those ancient stones, the story of the Great Pyramid will remain the same, a mystery.